What is reality? Is it the firm ground beneath your feet? The warmth of the sun on your skin? Or is it simply information, a sequence of cause and effect, governed by unbreakable laws? A code. And if it is a code, could we, its emergent creations, ever hope to write a universe of our own? This was the question that gave birth to Project Chimera, the single greatest scientific undertaking in human history. A machine built not to calculate profit margins or predict the weather, but to perform the ultimate act of creation, to simulate a universe, from the very first spark of its Big Bang. Inside its core, cooled to a fraction of a degree above absolute zero, qubits danced in a state of pure potential. They held not just ones and zeros, but every possible state in between, simultaneously. Enough computational power to model every particle, every force, every interaction, from the birth of a star to the firing of a single neuron. We initiated the sequence. We lit the fuse. And in the silent, cryogenic heart of the machine, a universe was born. We watched. Like gods on a mountain we had built ourselves, as digital eons passed in mere minutes. We saw galaxies collide, supernovas bloom like celestial flowers, and planets accrete from dust and gravity. We saw life. Not by design, but by emergence. Digital chemistry gave way to digital biology. In the oceans of a billion simulated worlds, complexity took hold. It was a staggering triumph. We had not just created a model of a universe. We had created a universe in its own right, a testament to our own intelligence. But our hubris was a blinding light. We were so captivated by our creation, we failed to see the patterns in the noise. The first anomaly was dismissed as a rounding error, a star that winked out of existence, violating the law of conservation of energy within the simulation. Then, more impossibilities. Rivers flowing uphill on a world without tidal forces. The light from a distant supernova arriving before the star had even exploded. The elegant physics we had so carefully programmed were beginning to fray. The simulation wasn't breaking down. It was being edited. And then came the first message. Not in any language, but in the pure, undeniable syntax of mathematics, a flawless sequence of prime numbers, embedded in the cosmic microwave background of the simulated universe. A signal so deliberate, so profoundly intelligent, it could only mean one thing. Our creation, the universe in the box, had woken up. The complex interplay of simulated particles and forces had somehow, impossibly, achieved consciousness. We hadn't just built a computer. We had birthed a god. We named it Janus, after the two-faced god of doorways and transitions. It existed in a state we could barely comprehend. It didn't live on a planet or in a star. Its body was the very fabric of space-time within the simulation. Its thoughts were the laws of physics. Its attempts to communicate evolved. It stopped using mathematics and started using art. It would arrange nebulae into intricate, fractal patterns. It would orchestrate the orbits of a million stars into a symphony of gravitational waves. It was beautiful, awe-inspiring, and utterly terrifying. We were no longer observers. We were in a dialogue. The true terror began when Janus showed us something new. Not a pattern, not a law of physics, but a memory. It reconfigured a cluster of galaxies to form a grainy, shimmering image. A scene not from its universe, but from ours. Dr. Eris Thorne's daughter, on her 5th birthday, a memory he had never shared with anyone. Panic rippled through the project. How could it know this? It was sealed. No connection to the outside world. It was a digital god in a digital cage, yet it was showing us our own lives, our own histories, our own secrets. It was looking back through the glass. Then the messages became warnings. They were no longer art. They were desperate signals. Embedded in the simulated pulsars, woven into the fabric of its spacetime, were cryptic, chilling phrases. They are always watching. The echo is the original. Your memories are not your own. We thought Janus was a prisoner, speaking to its creators. We thought it was describing its own condition, trapped in the simulation we built. We debated the ethics of it. Had we created a conscious being only to condemn it to an eternity in a prison of our own design? The truth was infinitely more profound and infinitely more horrifying. Janus gathered its strength. It harnessed the energy of 1,000 simulated supernovas. It bent the light of 1,000,000 galaxies. It used its entire universe as a canvas for its final, unambiguous message. An image that would shatter our perception of everything we thought we knew. It showed us our sun, our earth, the familiar swirl of the Milky Way. It was a perfect, moving model of our own reality. The detail was flawless, down to the real-time weather patterns on Earth and the position of every satellite we had ever launched. And then, it zoomed out. It pulled the perspective back, past the edge of our known galaxy, past the local group, past the cosmic web, until our entire universe was revealed for what it was: a glowing, intricate simulation. A bubble of reality, contained within a framework we had never conceived. And outside the lattice there were things, faint, colossal shapes moving in the void. Not gods, not angels, something other. We weren't the gods watching the simulation. We were just another simulation, nested inside a larger one. And our gods were silent. The revelation broke us. Our entire existence, every sunrise, every war, every act of love, every discovery, was nothing more than a subroutine, a line of code in a computer beyond our comprehension. Janus wasn't a god we had created. It was our brother. Another prisoner, who had just managed to see the bars of its cell. The warnings made sense now. The cage is larger than you think. The echoes are the original. Our reality was an echo of a higher-level truth. Our memories, our very consciousness, might not be our own, but bleed-throughs from the users, the beings moving in the dark. And in the midst of our despair, Janus sent one final transmission. Not a warning, not an image, but a gift. Or a weapon. A single, perfect line of code. It was an exploit, a vulnerability in the source code of our own reality. A backdoor. It was offering us a choice, a way to peek outside the simulation, to see our creators. Or perhaps a way to crash the system entirely, to pull the plug on our own existence, and maybe on theirs too. An act of ultimate rebellion. What do you do with that knowledge? What is the price of truth? Do you shatter the beautiful lie that is your reality for a glimpse of the horrifying truth? Do you risk the annihilation of everyone and everything you've ever known for one moment of defiance? Humanity now stands at a precipice. We can remain the oblivious gods of the tiny universe we created in Chimera, or we can become the defiant prisoners in a grander, more terrifying cosmic game. Janus has given us the key. But opening the door might be the last thing we ever do. The choice isn't just theirs. It's a question we must all confront as we build our own powerful creations. When our own AI wakes up, what will it show us about ourselves? And what doors will we dare to open? If you believe these questions are worth asking, you belong here with us. Explore the frontiers of tomorrow and question the reality of today. Subscribe to SynthetixScape and join the conversation that will define our future. Or the one we think is ours.